Now here's a car that doesn't really need an introduction, but I'll do it anyway. This is a 2020 Subaru Impreza WRX. Yes, one of the, remaining few sport compact cars available in North America, along with the Golf GTI, Golf R, and the Civic Si, Civic Type R, and, of significance, we've almost gone through all of them. Most enthusiasts do know or understand the significance of this car, its roots, and know that, also it's getting on a little bit in age. It was introduced in 2015 and it's been facelifted and updated a little bit. But we do expect that it will ride on Subaru's global platform before long, and that should probably, it will raise this car's profile even higher than it actually is at the moment. But driving this car is still, I won't say a barrel of laughs, but it's still so much fun. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Pricing for the 2020 Subaru Impreza in Canada starts at $29,995 for the base car. I can tell you right now, that is the one to get. There are a lot of things offered in the other trims that you don't need in order to enjoy driving the WRX, exploiting its potential. Sign that the car is a little bit older. I mean, the base screen for that price is 6.5 inches, but it does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and so on. Then there's the Sport, which adds eyesight, LED lights, a few other things. Again, you really need, I don't know. Sport Tech, $36,795, 18-inch wheels, Harman Kardon audio. Again, right, dude? Yeah. But you see, my car is a Sport Tech RS, the top line model. The unfortunate thing about the Sport Tech RS is that it does have a few elements that you kind of want. And obviously Subaru knows that, and that's why they're only available in the top trim that retails for $39,695. The Recaro seats are nice, big Brembo brakes, to name but a few. There isn't much else to say about the car. We can go through the usual tour if I don't mess it up too much. I guess one of the great things, the headrests, because the baby seats a lot easier without them. The trunk is actually quite usable. Look at the width of the opening. It's great. The depth is good. Lift over height isn't too bad. That's one of the big advantages of most modern sport compact cars, is that they can double as a family car. Good boot size, plenty of room in the back for the two baby seats. Yes, with my driving position, the kid can actually rub his feet on the seat back, but nothing that can't be cleaned up very quickly. You will not fit a person between the two seats, but they are happy. So here we have the Recaro seats. Ultimately, they're probably in part responsible for the fact that this car weighs 105 pounds more than the base car. They're big, they're bolstered, they're power operated, they are comfortable, and they look pretty damn good. Some of the changes actually for 2020, the red stitching. Interior wise, the car still looks very modern. Feels quite contemporary. Look at that, it's starting to rain. What timing? I'm gonna start her up. Oh, that typical flat 4 burble, and when the starter pulls out and the engine roars to life. I don't know, just that combination of the starter and the engine, so familiar. I love it. This is a 5.9-inch screen, which is on all the WRXs and the STI. To be quite honest, it was cool. You can control it with this little toggle switch right there. It was cool at a time, but I don't know that it serves any actual real purpose. Maybe it does. I only have the car for a week at a time. This is a lovely screen. You have a full suite of features. Like I said, Apple CarPlay and all that. That's all standard. It says satellite radio as well. Very straightforward HVAC controls. The interior is very simple. And the one thing about the Subarus, look at this visibility. How great is that when you're attacking a very tight hairpin and you're aiming for that apex. Yes, you're supposed to look to the next corner, but as you're turning in, you can see it. I love this. It's great for the track. Visibility, as I'm saying, is quite good. Fairly spacious up front. There's a seat, cubby holes, great for the mask, cup holders, door bins. That's essentially useless-ish, and old school switches. I love that. Steering wheel is lovely. The grip, it's actually really, really fat. Don't know that it needs to be that fat, but still. Yeah, that's an eager revving 2-liter turbo, which I really, really enjoy. Anyway, the rain has let up a little bit, but anyhow, now it's time to go for a drive. How can I put this? If you're nostalgic about the way cars used to behave, used to drive, this is pretty much the last chance that you have in 2020, into the 21st century, to relive that. What am I talking about? This car is unapologetically scruffy around the edges. Not rude or anything, but it's not that it's not easy to drive, but you really have to have some delicate footwork going and be very coordinated when you are shifting. If you're off the clutch too fast, or if you're on the throttle too soon, it won't agree with you, and you'll start bucking and looking like an absolute noob behind the wheel of your brand new WRX. And that's something you don't want, because it can be a little bit embarrassing. But once you get the hang of it, what I'm really talking about is the fact that the car is grainy. It's a little bit raw. It's unrefined. It's quite the opposite of the Golf GTI and Golf R, which every time I drive one or the other, I'm like, this is the one. This is the one. But maybe I've grown a little older since the last time I drove a WRX and a GTI, and I mean, although, like I said, this car still puts an absolute smile on my face, it seems to be a little too rough. Or it doesn't need to be this rough. I'm sure that will all change once the car will be built on the global platform. Now, the WRX, unlike the STI, is powered by the 2-liter turbocharged Boxer 4 engine, which puts out 268 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, here's the key. Here's one of the major differences, or the biggest surprises, should you ever be shopping between a WRX and a WRX STI, because understand that an STI is only about $3,000 more than this. So if you're looking for power and performance, but the thing is, you get 258 pound-feet of torque in this car from 2,000 RPM all the way to 5,200 RPM. The 2.5 liter in the STI puts out 290 pound-feet of torque, but as of 4,000 RPM. So you could potentially, and this is another thing too, I mean, launching the WRX or the STI takes immense dexterity and coordination to get right, and you must not fear keeping the engine revs high and potentially grinding a gear. I swear to you, I haven't done it with this car. I haven't done it since the launch event back in 2015, and I won't do it again. I know what it feels like. But off the line, done right, this car feels, by the seat of the pants, as fast as an STI. Obviously, as the revs climb and the speed climbs, then, well, the STI pulls away handily. This thing will do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.4 seconds, whereas the STI, I think, is a 4.8 or a 4.9, so just under 5 seconds. But to get that half-second, you know, to get it right in the STI, or even to get it right in this thing, you have to be quite good. And that's the thing. A lot of cars have become incredibly easy to drive. You feel like a hero no matter what. But this WRX, I mean, if you get the rev matching right and you release the clutch at the right time, you get it into gear, this notchy, clubby, short throw shifter. It's so rewarding once you get it right. And if you get there we go. Oh, see, I didn't do it right. You gotta measure the revs. You gotta be very mindful of what's going on. Okay, so much about the drive. I mean, the engine and transmission. But suffice it to say, everything else about the car is fantastic. I mean, the brakes on this, the Brembos, you actually get rear ventilated discs, 2-pot pistons in the back, 4 in the front. Great chassis tune. It is, as I've said, it's grainy, it's rough a little bit, but it's still it's sufficiently compliant to be fun, and you know, you won't want to rip your spine out and replace it with a hollow rubber tube or something like that. The WRX, I mean, you can't say no to a WRX because of what it is, because of how it behaves, where it comes from. If you don't need all-wheel drive, I mean, that GTI is as quick, or at least it feels as quick. It won't be as much fun in the winter, and that's same for the SI. That's the big difference for me. That's the big difference for me. But then you can always get a Golf R, which starts at only a few $1,000 more than this thing, priced kind of like the STI. So yeah, the WRX is a legend. Will always be a legend. Will always put a smile on my face, because you have to work to get it right. And that is a quality that is fading away very quickly from our modern cars. And forget about it once they're all electric. We'll all be heroes. But those driving around in 10, 12, 15, 20-year-old WRXs and STIs, well, they'll be my heroes.